Friends, gathered throng. It is I, your friend Jeffrey K. Holkins. I am joined by Acquisitions Intoxicated Brewmaster Eric Benson and a special guest. You may know her as Evelyn, but I know her as my friend Anna Prosser. She is here in Holly's stead in some ways. So Holly, we have someone here, someone you trust, to drink the Dark Contract Trashed Witch Stout that was brewed halfway through September.
Yeah, it's been sitting.
It has been sitting
for 3 months.
For 3 months, and recently it has had a dry addition of fresh roasted Ethiopian coffee at your request, Holly.
And lavender. We put lavender
and
right
there is a lavender extract. So if you recall Precious Channel, obviously you collaborated on this with us and Holly. The idea is that Strix just sort of scrabbles around the dark woods, occasionally burying casks of this fluid and then being delighted when she rediscovers them. So that is our plan. But if you are not familiar with Acquisitions Intoxicated, let me give you a brief index of our ritual. We are going to start by putting into this device I have in front of me, the step filter for the Pico Brew Zymatic. We are going to be building Long Rest, which is the brew that we all collaborated on for Ryan. It is a monster creature.
Oh,
it's a beast.
Brutal?
Well,
Brutal.
yeah. So he loves Abbey-style ales, like triples,
like Belgians, and
massive. So they're sort of sweet and dark and caramely, right? And so we came up with something monstrous. I think it's 12%.
12%. The chat decided that 12% was the best way to go.
Exactly.
And I agree with them. You know,
So keep in mind for Dinar,
for that toothbrush-wielding motherfucker.
Indeed. One need not brush their teeth with ABV at this level. But keep in mind, Anna, what we're going to have from Holly today is like 9.2.
It's great.
So 3% more than that is what we're putting together in this dark
This is great because I'm going to get bombed on the channel today because we have nothing else after this. So
we're gonna go whole fucking hog now.
Welcome to Saturday nights, everyone.
Exactly.
Holly's so mad that it's stronger than hers. I knew she would be.
This is typical Dinar. Like, he has to compete in every field. So, as I suggested, we're going to fill up this step filter. We're going to get that live brewing going. Obviously, the grain cam is going to be ready. There'll be full contact with the grains throughout.
Potential singing. You can sing as well.
Sure.
Singing. Yeah, exactly. So, there's a reason that we sing.
Why
we'll
are
go
we
into it. Well, and listen, it is vitally important. We are going to inculcate you into this entire ritual. After that, we are then going to drink some of that Dark Contract Trashed Witch. Then after that, the homebrew shop that we get all of our stuff from.
Microbrew Homebrew in Kenmore.
Microbrew Homebrew in Kenmore. He offered us this, which he suggests is a French toast stout.
This is something Anthony, who I chat with every week. He's like, you know what? I've got this stout. If you guys want to try it, the chat was talking about a French toast and using maple syrup.
So he went wild on it.
Yeah, and he's like, here it is. I'm like, okay, we'll give this a rip.
Indeed, and then immediately after, we will collaborate directly with Evelyn and you to come up with a beverage that honors her character. Someone's trying to call me, but it's not time. It's not time to talk to them. Now, first things first.
Wait, are they calling to get the same? Like, is it time to drink?
They're like, listen, no, I'm real thirsty too.
Yeah.
No, fuck y'all, it's too late. Now, so here we're gonna do the whole process. Now, it is usually fun to expose new people to the weird artifacts of this art form. So if you want to go crazy on this feed bag here.
Yeah,
okay.
For that
Anna,
trough.
So and then, so our last guest, Danny Hartel, who you know well, she suggested that it had a sort of hamsterian vibe.
Hamsterian as in of hamsters?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is Pilsner. This is like, think of...
I can just reach in here?
Yeah, just reach in and grab it.
It reminds me of like the birdseed I used to feed my parakeets. No, it doesn't.
Did you ever eat any of it?
No, it doesn't.
I did.
Yeah, see, here you go.
Of course.
It's got mad flavor. So give that a try.
Ooh, it tastes like Raisin Bran.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's food. Like that's the thing to keep in mind with all this is that We're just using real food ingredients. We're just doing it in a very specific way. And then once we have it made, it's like basically kind of like a wheat tea.
Yeah.
Then we have a microorganism go fucking crazy on it for a few weeks.
Go ham.
Yeah, exactly.
This is great.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
I'd
super,
eat
super
this
good.
as cereal.
Exactly. And so that is going to provide sort of the sugar base for the yeast to go nuts on. So is it just Pilsner?
That's going to be, most of this is all grains for
You get some
days.
grains? Yeah.
Where do I put this now that I've been snacking on it?
Throw it right back in.
Okay.
Because this is going to reach 200 degrees.
Oh, so it's
it is
fine.
not
Yeah.
in any danger
Okay.
from you at all.
Yeah. So that's Pilsner and Carapils, right?
That's right. So that Carapil is in there to
Yeah.
give a little bit more sugar content and to darken it and
little
sweeten
head
it up a little
retention,
bit.
you know. To pour those grains in.
Oh. Yeah, this is grassy, but like not in a bad way. Right? Grassy in a way that's okay. It's Degrassi.
It's Degrassi High.
Junior high.
Oh.
All right, now, have you ever smelled hops or been exposed to hops in any way, Anna Prosser?
I'm trying to remember. The only time I would have been is when I was here last time.
That's true. we might have,
I don't
think we were
think so.
pushing the hops on people as hard back then.
That's the Tetneg. That's going to be very spicy. That's going to give those spicy
Well,
notes.
and we know. See, now, having had it in Jim's velvet rope, now I can pick up what I'm supposed to pick up there. It's underneath it. Like,
Yeah.
it's big and tangy. So this is like a super, super classic. This is one of the noble hops.
Oh,
So it's going
Right?
to be earthy and you're going to get like a lot of spicy flavors.
it smells so good.
No,
Right.
it smells so good. And so the main thing, right, is that, so imagine that, or a certain percentage of that, in 3 gallons of water, and only for a short period of time, right? It's steeped almost like a tea.
Like a tea. Yep.
But what it leaves behind is something like a cinnamon flavor, but without like the cloying. Like if you actually like put a bunch of like the cinnamon challenge, it hangs around, right?
Right.
This is just like that flavor, and then it's gone. Like it doesn't hang out, right?
Cool.
And that's going to be, we're going to use a full ounce of that, and that's the first hop edition at 60 minutes. So
Okay.
guys, you remember the 60-minute edition gives us the bittering that
Yeah.
we need to offset the malts.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just a crazy sweet thing. Our chat window is running low on power, George. We need their wisdom at this special time.
Yeah,
Right here. So how much of this is going in?
the whole thing.
The whole damn thing.
Because
all right?
remember, this is a higher
this is-
ABV beer. So where like a lot of the beers we've been doing are in the 5 and 6 and 7% range. In order to break that malt base down,
Yeah.
we need to hit it with a
Well,
lot
exactly.
of hops.
We can hit it with a lot of hops, but because they're only alpha 2, it's not crazy pants. Like
No.
some of the weird,
The New
like-
Zealanders.
yeah, some of the weird shit we've been kicking out. All right, now what's next?
Next is the other one, the Saz.
Yeah.
This is another noble hop. This is going to go in at the end of the boil for flavor and aroma.
Yeah, this is brighter.
It's brighter. It's
And
going to give you
danker.
more. And stone fruits. All the dank. Give me the dank.
Here,
I
here,
mean-
here. No, just sample our nugs, and then see what you think. Right?
What do you
Dank.
mean noble? It's
So noble
quite
hops.
dank.
Well behaved.
Quite
There,
dank.
there are these traditional. They call them the noble hops. They're traditionally used hops over in Europe. It's Hallertau, Spalt, Saz, and Tetneg. And these are just traditional hops.
Oh.
Just the whole damn thing.
Just the whole darn thing. Actually, put it in the
Number 3?
third cage.
Should I put something in number 2?
Yes, but I don't think we got it, so I'm not gonna go run for it.
All right. Okay. Cool.
It's just the World
Oh,
Flock.
raw fuck. Yeah. Which is basically a clarifying agent. It's not a big deal. But anyway, so this is Keach.
Yep. I'll put the So there's a couple ways you can do clarifying. You can do it right in the boil, or you can do it after in secondary fermentation with isinglass, which is a gelatin.
Isn't isinglass from fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And the Middle Earth. So
Oh boy. But for real, like that's the process.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's it?
So the back end that he has right here, long rest, as you see. What can you kick the screen over to Mr. Benson, Josh? So this is. I'm not sure we've actually really showed them the back.
no, we never really showed them the back end
go ahead and
of
take a
what
look.
pico looks like. So
Yeah.
what we'll do is this is after you've created your recipe on the pico system. it prints, it pushes everything out for you. And you can see, you know, what your final gravity is, your ABV. The ABV is going to be off on this because we know it says 8%. It's going to be 12 because we're going to add sugars and Belgian candy sugar to the boil. Yeah, so it's going to darken it up. But this is basically what, if you get a pico, this is what you're going to be kind of staring at as you formulate your recipes.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the nerd shit in the back.
These are all different kinds of recipes. We have Long Rest is the one we're brewing. Widow's Wake was the IPA we did for the Dran and Courtier. Tinker's Lantern for Little Clues in the channel. Liquid Assets as the Acquisitions Incorporated home office brew. Mm-hmm. Unwarranted Advantage for VRE.
That's Pat's. And that one was really neat. Yeah. So that's a style called a Goza that has like a citrus rind inside the device, not after, and also salt. And the grains themselves are acidulated, so it has kind of a tangy flavor. So between the tangy flavor, the citrus, and the salt, like it is a monster.
That sounds awesome.
Our director of operations, Jeff Cowles, who has a dark thirst. The channel knows him well.
But he never did until he started. I'm not saying we turned him into
a fiend.
A fiend.
But that was his
real
favorite.
Possibility.
Yeah, but that was his favorite, and he comes in and tries every one basically. So
that's so neat.
Now that is underway, is it time
what's it
to
doing? It sounds all gurgly.
Sample. Oh, here. So we will break the whole thing down for you because there may be new viewers as well. So there's one thing that you can't see if you are watching the home game, and that is off to the right. There is a tube that goes down to a tank. So that tank has about 3 gallons of water. And then it's going to basically, this device is grabbing that. So inside that, did you ever work like in a restaurant?
No.
Yeah. Listen, that's to your credit. If you do, you'll see things like this a lot. It's called a Cornelius keg or a corny. Mm-hmm. And then inside that tank, there's a long metal straw that goes down from one of the ball locks, which is like one of the access points in the top. There's like an out and an in. And so it's pulling the water up through that straw, running it through the heat pump, and then putting it back into the tank. So it's circulating the water to heat it through the pump. And then once it gets up to the target temperature, right now you can see it's at 96, it's heading up to 102 for the very first hit of the water to come down on the grains and start to pull the sugar out so we can make beer with it. But that's it. But there's something else here, and that's this tap right here, Eric Benson.
Yep.
I'm going to start putting this into those, and then we're going to put it in here.
Put it in the crawl zone.
The CZ.
The CZ, as they say.
This is the part that everyone wants to come on the show
why you
for,
were
I know,
right?
right? Like,
Holly, are you excited?
this is the Holly Conrad.
Eric.
Look at that. It's gorgeous. It's the perfect foam.
The fucking pour on this. Well, and part of it is because
Jeff's not doing it.
Well, part of it is because Jeff has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But we have also pulled out a couple for Holly. So Holly, this is yours right over here
for you.
Here, these are Holly's private reserve.
Smells so good.
Oh, here, one sec.
I'm not taking a drink. I'm sorry.
Hard,
I couldn't help but sniff.
It's hard. It's like I just want to drink. I want to drink it.
I'm just holding it real close.
Yeah.
There's a ritual. Oh no, you have this thing dialed in, man. The pour is so good. All right, now, here we go. Now I saw, Eric, that you apparently had a drink
I don't know what you're talking
at
about.
an inappropriate time outside the ritual space.
Listen, I had to test this.
I didn't know that wasn't allowed. He gave some to me
It's
too.
not-
What
Listen,
are you doing?
I'm sorry.
Listen, if an outlander comes into the ritual space, it's no surprise that they don't know the rules. But if this motherfucker,
Listen, I make the rules.
you make the beer also.
Yeah.
So, all right, hey, are we ready? Here, so we need
Cheers.
full access to the craw. Let's get wild, and then let's help our friend Holly know what's going on. Oh God!
It smells so good.
Now I get it.
Everything is going on.
Now I get it. It's the lavender edition at Holly's request is supernatural. Holy shit.
But check out the coffee taste. Remember how we were like, oh, I wonder what the coffee's gonna. The coffee comes all on the back. It's fucking brilliant, right?
What
It's
the
so
fuck?
good.
Okay, so let me hook you up. So Here, one more.
Just another one. And another one.
It's like, it's so complicated and simple at the same time.
Your mind was just blown.
No, right? And so here's what's
it's
happening.
actually, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
It's the beans.
Yeah.
The beans are what gave it that extra part. So imagine, if you will, go to a land of crop, right? So you basically imagine that the stage is being set so that the taste of coffee, when it goes in, when it goes into the mouth, it basically has that sort of flat nature, that sort of like base nature, and then depending on the coffee, it's going to build up on top of that.
Yeah, totally.
That plateau. So this, because it's an Ethiopian bean, it's going to have
Best beans in the
fruit-
world.
Best beans in the world. It's going to have a fruit aspect that sits on top. It's going to give it something like a tea infusion flavor, right? Then there you have that, and then you have the lavender that comes in on top of that. But the reason that it's important is because this is actually still very sweet. There was so much sugar and so much malt in its manufacture that it's actually a sweet lavender. And then, but that sweet lavender rests, Holly, like a diadem.
Yes.
Of an Eastern potentate.
That's right.
That's exactly
Right
it.
on top of the rest of the structure that is dark and sweet and constructed of, because we specifically went for coffee and not chocolate, and then we just reinforced it with actual beans.
Because we went with black malt and special B, which are going to give us those caramel and coffee flavors right off the top, and then Fuggles was the hop, and that's going to be spicy as well.
No, and it's a
spicy, woody, earthy.
See, that's it, dude. That's the first use we've had of Fuggles. And I think that Fuggles came through similar to the way the tech can come through, right? And that's the rest of the spice that's coming along, because I'm trying to figure out what the rest of it is. And that's where the spice...
We may have to sample this a little more.
But that's where the spice is coming
so
through.
good
Are
too.
you...
It's crazy, right?
Sorry, I would love to be here, but sorry to steal you for just a second.
Oh, here. I got you.
We're doing business
Well,
on the stream.
Well, here.
We're drinking.
No, here. No, Carol, hold on. We're doing
hold
business
on.
on the stream. Hold on.
I'm just drinking a beer.
Here.
I'm fine.
It's beer time.
Here.
Smells
Now,
amazing.
here. Now, come for your reward. Now, take a look. Tell me what you think. Because
The look.
yeah, no, it is.
It looks like a
It is
root beer.
no, it is designed. It is functionally speaking, like narrative-wise, it's like a witch's brew.
What?
So, real lavender, real coffee.
All we're saying, Holly,
Right?
is this is pretty rad.
Yeah.
It's so Strixy too, because it's like
We'll run the whole thing out.
diadem is a much better metaphor than
Right?
I was going for.
I know, right?
But I was going
the
for like,
fucking wordsmith
bonks.
over here, right?
I know if there's like
Give it a sip. Give it a sip.
you know, if she was burying this in the earth, if there's that earthiness, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trash
yeah,
witchiness,
yeah.
that's the bottom, and then there's like this
Right?
mountaintop of sweetness on
It's
top
real,
of it.
It's
real
so
trouble.
crazy.
Yeah.
9.2.
I'm so excited
Feel
about
free to
how
leave
this
the
turned
glass.
out because
Carol,
of that.
my
And when I
pleasure.
say sweetness, it's
always
like sweetness
available.
can be like
No, no.
cloying.
Yeah.
But this is, it's like
not.
a bright sweetness,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The lavender
you
makes
really-
it
yeah.
bright,
Yeah.
even when it looks like this. Hello, Meredith.
Hello, Jerry. I heard lavender and I had to come in.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Try this.
Coffee and lavender.
This is a lavender stout called Trashed Witch. Give this a try.
Oh my god, that's a stout I like.
We found it. No, real coffee beans, real lavender. On top
Holly,
of
we
a
wish you were here too.
spicy
Holly, you are
hopping.
here in our hearts.
Yes.
It's so good.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Jerry.
my pleasure.
And everybody.
Well, listen. So it seems like that fucking worked.
Yeah.
Jesus.
This is the most Strixy thing I've ever.
Well, no, because
Like you take one sip of this and you know Holly Conrad made
No,
it.
we want it because
Right.
because it has that sort of like basement cellaring type vibe in there.
But I keep coming back to that lavender brightness because that's what's so Strixy about it is like, yeah, she's this trash rich
right.
pile, but
But then
there's
she
like
sees a purple flower, and that goes in the
there's
mix.
like this little innocence in her, you know.
Oh, here. Now, Anna, so now that you are here and present for the ritual, now you have an opportunity to help
here we go.
the enthusiasts
Yes.
at home. So now you can smell the sweet smell of the boiling water hitting the grains. And so it's that warm bread, doughy type vibe, and then it's going to come back for it at 150 and at 200.
Oh.
And so that sort of like warm, like baking smell is going to define the space.
And they're
functionally
already telling you to stroke it.
I did strike it. Here, listen.
Does that help with the process?
Well, it does two things. There's stroking and singing. There's two things, right?
Oh, okay.
There's two things that stroking and singing are recognized to
in the
confer.
industry.
In the industry. This is well known.
Yeah, this is
First,
There's been studies, I'm sure.
head retention. It gets retained. You don't stroke it, you don't sing to it. What's happening there head-wise?
There's actually a group
sing.
of choral leaders that go around from brewery to brewery to
Yeah.
sing to the beer.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is a recognized phenomenon.
Yeah.
The chantry. Now, on top of that, creamy mouthfeel. Like you you take a beer that has not been sung to, the grains have not been rubbed. It's like drinking sandpaper.
no one wants that.
you take
Nobody
this-
wants to drink sandpaper.
You take this-
That's not how I roll.
Nope.
You take this incredible product, right? Wow, so creamy. I'm just telling you, like this is a recognized phenomenon. So, that's this. I mean, where does this sit in our hierarchy of greats? Like, which ones have we liked the best, and then where does this fit in? Because I feel like this is up there.
This is my favorite, if not second favorite. I don't know. Okay, so I have War Priest,
yeah. See,
Jim's the Velvet Cape,
Yeah.
and this.
This is my
So
favorite
you're-
out of all.
I don't know what you're talking about. This, all that other stuff, crap.
no, it's good. Hey, now, so we're gonna keep.
Oh, you're in the top three because I'm going to keep drinking the fuck out of this.
Well,
It's
No.
also, can I, like,
It's bad news. No, listen, listen. You can enunciate
Yes.
the entire process. Like this is exactly what we want. This is the optimal experience.
I did not expect to be able to smell the lavender on top so
Right.
well. And lavender is actually an essential oil that I use to deal with stress. And
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and
so why not drink it?
well, and Strix is all about like dealing with stress. That's like her whole life. So it's so perfect and so sweet.
Yeah, like, so what I did was probably the same thing. I got a little tincture of lavender extract.
Oh yeah.
And actually on the front it says to deal with
Yeah.
like stress relief and whatever. So all you have to do when you're adding it to a beer is you like blueberry extracts, blackberry extracts. You literally just add like an ounce of it,
Really?
and that's all. And that's enough to flavor it
Like
where-
that?
to where-
Gallons and
Wow.
gallons and gallons.
to where we're sensing it. You want to hand me those 2 sampling cups?
Oh,
Let's
hell
do
yeah.
this French toast. French toast.
I mean, if there's anything that I might like better than this beer, if there's even a chance, it would be a brunch beer.
That's what this sounds like.
The Waffle Crew is very passionate about brunch. French
Well-
toast is hands down brunch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's that hollow French toast. No half measures. Yeah, you can taste the lavender stalk in this motherfucker. Pro tier.
So if people want to know, how to pour beer, you can do the angled pour.
Yeah, that's a classic
Right.
scenario.
But what you want to do midway through pouring is actually put it flat and pour right down the middle. A lot of people don't know to do that sometimes, and it actually releases more flavor.
Yeah. You
I did not know
dummies.
that.
You're pouring your beer wrong. All right, now,
Wow.
dude, now you're retaining some head.
Story of my life.
On that thing.
What?
Mhm.
So let's try
Yeah. Toast au français.
maybe
A toast to toast.
a toast.
Ooh,
A toast to your toast.
that's nice. What's next?
Whoa!
What? See,
Anthony, if you're on, this
Wow.
is really cool,
yeah,
man.
see, that's pro tier. Again, we're getting at the spice vibe and the sweetness, but the cloyingness isn't there.
No,
it's
and
balanced.
this
the
has
alcohol is cutting straight through.
Right, but this has maple syrup in it and nutmeg and cinnamon.
Yeah, but I mean, the body that it's generating, I think, is the standout. Anna Prosser,
Yes.
tell me more.
I'm wowed by how it develops. Like
Mm-hmm.
the first taste I had, ooh, and then the next, ooh, and then whoa.
No,
I'm really
it's
into
like
it.
it's like when Charlie eats the gobstopper.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, now it's turkey. Oh shit.
And I'm getting one by one those like, oh, here's
Oh,
a toastiness,
yeah.
here's a cinnamon,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
maple syrup.
That's
It's a
wild.
beer that has secondary explosions.
Well, the Waffle Crew loves syrup, so.
Yeah.
Just saying. On brand.
Yep.
All day.
Now,
It's delicious.
we will arrive at a singing portion.
At a singing.
So, Anna Prosser, you have seen you have witnessed the power of this fully armed
Nathan, get a load of this.
and
You're gonna love
operational
this.
battle station.
That's no moon.
Now you
That is
know
no-
the type of service we can provide here at Acquisitions Intoxicated. This is a no fuck around zone. Now,
Oh,
I'm
really?
going to take one moment because I really, really trust Nathan runs our warehouse, and I trust his palate on things like this. I would love to know what you think.
So this is Holly's beer with special bee in it, with caramel malts. Fuggles is the hops, and
Fresh roasted coffee.
fresh roasted coffee and lavender extract. It's wild. Wow.
Holy shit.
Right?
Right?
It's kind
That
of
is really good.
it's kind of complicated. Like there's a lot to think about. Like I like a thinky beer, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be thinking after this beer. That's the problem.
No, that's the deep irony of this.
I was
fluid.
just thinking, I probably shouldn't even finish
That's
this.
Yeah.
Describe it.
No, I feel
We're
like that is
we'll
a
be-
real
yeah.
winner. Thanks,
This
Nathan.
is probably my favorite stout.
Yeah.
Well, no.
This is it's climbing
now that we're
the
into
charts.
it,
That's
right,
all
now,
I'm saying.
Now that we're into the cups, seize it. Take go for the nose realm. Enter that realm. Like that is
love the way it
that is
smells.
one of the best. Like independent of where it fits in the hierarchy of what we put together.
Right.
The nose on it is bonkersville.
Yeah.
Like that is half of it at least.
This is like a stout for people to get into stouts. It's a gateway
Yeah,
stout.
it's a gateway stout, if you will. It's an on-ramp into the stout realm.
Yeah.
It's really easy to drink.
No.
Right.
Baka. Trash Twitch is not 12. You are thinking of Long Rest,
Yeah.
which is over here in this bad boy right
This
now.
is still 9.3% or
Yeah.
9.8 or whatever the hell we went with.
Yeah,
but-
it's not. It
Yeah,
is
thanks
not
for that,
even
Holly.
10, but it's big.
What did she say?
I know, I was just, thanks for that 9%.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. It's pro tier.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, listen. So I feel like Trash Twitch is out of control.
It's
Like, that's-
unreal. Like, I want
that's
to
a
bottle
winner.
this and sell this.
Exactly. Like, and ultimately, that option is going to be there,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
ultimately, we'll be able to do things like the kits and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Oh, don't be a stranger.
Come on in and grab the beer.
Cup, Portois. Oh,
Or- no,
brought
no,
a-
no, he
oh,
brought
yeah,
his own,
Or
yeah.
your mug.
Fill up
Yeah.
the- yeah.
Mug is fine too. Now, so I don't know if you had talked to.
Water leaking.
What? What? Oh.
Water leaking here. It's okay. Watch this. This is a real brewing show.
Stuff happens. Sometimes it's water, sometimes it's foam.
I promise that if you get into brewing,
You will go through all of these measures.
you will occasionally have to have a towel.
Look at this technology.
Dude, I think, you know what I think? I think that Ryan's beer is cursed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Every time we try to brew his
The
beer.
first time we tried to make it, it wouldn't work at all. The second time, the liquids are escaping. Thank you very much for
By a
keeping an
lot.
eye on that, man.
Ryan Hartman, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel confident blaming Ryan, even though he's not here and like could not possibly have been responsible for this. Like, I still feel like Ryan is to blame, and it's a shameful thing,
No,
right?
it's not. Fuck him.
Now, you don't know Ryan very well, but I want to tell you, it's probably his fault.
I believe it.
You've seen him a couple times, and like you look at him, and you're like, yeah.
Evelyn has Dinar in the Secret Santa exchange.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, here, can you go?
Yeah,
can you,
talk to
can you
it,
tell
talk to
people
it.
about that
Oh,
so
yeah.
they can find out?
Totally. So the Waffle Crew and the C Team, you know, they've had a tough time this year. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they've had an overall tough time with 2017. So we wanted to give them a little time to celebrate,
Relax,
and,
enjoy
you know,
the season.
Yeah, connect with friends who understand them. And so we're doing a little Secret Santa gift exchange. And it's okay if you know who everyone has. Just, you know, the characters aren't supposed to know.
Yeah. Shh.
Yeah, but each of the Waffle Crew and the C Team were matched with another person for whom they're going to get a gift in game, a role played gift.
Thanks, Hill. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
so-
all basically. So, is it going to happen in a game, or is it?
It's all on Twitter.
You can watch the whole story live
As
on
it
Twitter.
So we're
Unfolds.
all the characters are shopping right now on Twitter. Evelyn's been shopping all day trying to find something for
Dude,
Dinar.
listen. I think that is the coolest stuff. Like, I mean, we were talking about this before the show. Like, I think anything that we can do to strongly imply that, you know, the Perkiverse, right?
Yep.
It's like the MCU. Like, if you like one of these shows, like, you know, when we brought Holly onto the main stage for West, I mean, I think that she revolutionized our live game. Like, she's incredible.
Really?
Oh my gosh! Because we pulled her into the Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was not, it was like a month and a half, 2 months later. Oh, Dave, do you want some?
Sure. I'll hop in.
And so, no, I love her.
I heard that. Ha. Ha.
I didn't mean it. I want to take credit, but I didn't mean it.
Here you go.
This-
Now, is this still cheating?
No.
If you have a carb?
If you want to make that a little bit more,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. We have had.
carbs are full force right now.
Oh, really? Okay, you're
During the
so
holidays, it doesn't count.
Exactly.
He's into
Listen.
the carbs on here. Tell me what you think of that, man.
Yeah.
But basically, like anything that we can do to
It's
make
coffee
it,
and lavender are the notes
I think
that
it
you
makes
should be getting.
each of the games more real and more meaningful if Waffle Crew, the A game show, and the C team, if they all know each other, I think that actually makes each game more real.
Well, and I think that there are things that are happening because of the actions of AI in our game. Because, for example, we were going looking for some certain treasures, and it occurred to us that maybe someone had been there before us and taken those treasures already. So thanks a lot.
Well, but even on top of that, I mean, don't forget, and Chris would know exactly how to do it, because, between he and I, we've established this sort of network of Acquisitions Incorporated franchise. If there's something you guys need done,
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Bring.
if there's something you need done, obviously the C team would be the cheaper way to do it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I mean it. Talk to Chris, pay the gold, because, Omin's involved.
Right.
Pay the gold, but then have the C team do it. When C team gets started back up, I will have them go get whatever you want, and then I will have them give it back to you.
The Waffle Crew
Yeah, I was
has
just
no
gonna
money.
say the problem is that we live in abject poverty. So,
But you
you
have.
can pay debts in other ways.
well, I
saying.
mean, you've already got
So the
Strix under like an infernal contract.
Indeed, but the Secretarian of Acquisitions Incorporated will accept payment in information. So,
We don't know anything.
you know what I mean? Consider it. I'm saying find some
Okay,
info.
okay. Look, the Drunken Dying tour has been going really well for Paulton, so maybe he can loan us some money.
Here, so Mike, what do you? Too much? Are you
quite a drink.
Are you shit faced now?
Not a drink. No, but it gets you like in the back of the throat.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't like coffee either.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
didn't like a lot of those flavors. In there.
It's like 9.3
Here.
or 9.8% on that puppy.
Yeah.
Are your eyes
Here.
watering?
I mean, I'm already.
here. I want to emphasize something. Okay, so Mike said I did not like a lot of the flavors in there, and so let's go down the list. Right? Lavender, coffee,
He was making a
Beer.
face. I watched every
alcohol. Like none of this. If you're not into this stuff, like he's getting into it now. Like Alyssa, like puts together like a vodka and cranberry before Jim Dark Magic goes on stage, because it's actually Jim Dark Magic. Like it's not Mike Krahulik, it's Jim Dark Magic.
Right.
And so he arrives with a lot of enthusiasm these days. What do you think, Dave?
It is certainly the least successful that you've put together.
It's
because of
aggressive.
that. But as a coffee fan, I'm like sipping here like, all right.
Yeah. I feel
Not
like
into lavenders, I can tell you that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lavender's not your. Dave does not like lavender.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
like
Don't put it
it.
in your mouth. Listen,
I got this tickle in the back of my throat.
if you want to come up here and put it here, that's totally fine. That's
No, I'm gonna finish this.
That's interesting because I'm such a fan of lavender that I was like, everyone will love this.
Right.
I guess I didn't think about how much I love lavender.
Sorry.
no, it's a winner. Now, so what I've suggested is that you know what we're capable of now.
I do.
Now, when Danny Hartel was here, she's like, "Hey, I want to make a cider. Cider as a brewer, boring.
Yeah.
It's boring." But we were able to figure out a peace out, Doc. We were able to figure out a way to make a cider that had real narrative heft,
Right.
and was fun, and would be fun for us to put together.
So, I think the first thing we do
Yeah.
is have. Let's talk about Evelyn as a character.
Absolutely. So why don't you dish up?
Anna, do you want to
So- so
tell us about the character
I
in
suspect
general?
strongly, because I know there's a lot of C Team Waffle Crew fans on that streaming deal.
Yeah.
A lot of them are probably already fans, but why don't you dish it up for
Sure.
our people, and then we can try to break that down and make something really special for you.
Sure. So Evelyn is a human paladin of Lathander, the Morning Lord. She really likes sunshine.
Familiar?
Sunshine, summertime, brightness.
That's the deal.
Yep. And her oath is Oath of the Ancients. So anything that has to do with music, dancing,
cool.
joy, beauty, those are the most holy things in the world to her.
There's so many great things.
So
No, I just want more.
laughter.
I just smell my cup.
Yeah, anything. So for example, the way that she got involved in the party was that she heard the bard playing in a bar, loved his music so much she started coming every night.
That's so great.
So she's
that kicks
really
ass.
Yeah, she's really into all of that. She comes from a noble family, but it's like a provincial
And
noble
here
family.
he is. Sorry to interrupt. This is the Jeff Tales
it's for you.
Tour 1998.
I've been very busy.
Here, try this.
Oh, do I have to sip it?
Yes.
Oh,
You're gonna
Ooh,
love
yeah.
the nose.
Oh,
The
yeah.
nose is half of the experience, I think. Right?
really good, but there's
There's a lot
what
going
is
on.
that?
Lavender
Oh,
and
that's what
coffee.
it is.
Lavender and coffee.
Who put the potpourri in my beer?
Indeed. A witch.
That's right.
Enter Jeff at a sprint. I love that.
I was wrapping up my call as fast as I could.
No.
Now I gotta go to my next appointment.
God bless
If
you.
you want to alert the warehouse, let them know.
They're aware.
Oh, they've been here. They've already been in.
Well, we've had a couple, right?
All right, so singing, brightness, parties. And
she-
all of this stuff has to get wrapped in.
But when you think about being a paladin, there's like that bright sunny aspect, but the underpinning of that is she's been working her
Rules.
from a very young age. Discipline, battle, and so it's this weird dichotomy of like she loves to smash stuff and she's good at smashing stuff and she follows these rules, but she's also fatally optimistic to the point of like, look at all of those goblins. They'll probably be our friends. Let's go.
Oh, I see. It's a work hard, play hard thing.
And, Or, hey, I have this tiny axe and there's a giant monster. I bet I can probably beat it. I'll go by myself. That kind of stuff. And she is from a noble family, so there's an air of she likes fancy things. She likes shiny things.
Right.
Really?
But it's a provincial noble family. Like it's a farming
Oh,
town.
I see. So her
it's-
idea of what constitutes fancy is pretty like middle America.
right, and it's not so much
It's
that
like if
she's
something
like
is bedazzled. That's kind of like
right,
upmarket.
and she's not maybe
Like the
not
Floby.
that. She
you
likes
know what I mean?
She
likes the Floby. That's a
think
lot of
she-
convenience.
I think she has good taste.
Oh, okay.
Like she doesn't expect a ton. You know what I mean? Like she's not snobby, but if
No.
you give her like some what we call Gucci yar in our game, oh, she's gonna wear that Gucci yar. Okay.
You brought Gucci into D&D.
Well, she went shopping. She wanted a new outfit.
I like it. I love it. I love every
Yeah.
part of this.
So and then
Okay, so it's nice.
yeah,
It's actually nice. Like
Yeah. not kitschy.
No,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's actually like high end.
But she doesn't have much. So it's just like when those things are serendipitously blessed upon her, she enjoys them. But then the big defining thing about Evelyn, especially right now, that we should probably know as we go into this, is that she faced some difficult trials. She sacrificed herself for her friends, as a paladin of the light would do.
Indeed, I know well.
Yes. And she actually was brought back by her god in a construct body. So she looks like a C-3PO version of, she's a one-to-one
The
exact.
Warforged type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, as
A
we saw it
construct
unplugged
Warforged.
with all the awesome cosplay.
Raiment.
Yes, and so she's
fucking
made
rad.
of gold and engraved and all of this stuff.
cool.
And so she's learning how to live her life in a body that doesn't feel like her own and still serve.
Holy crap!
What?
What?
Wild card 23. I was thinking Cezanne. I had mentioned
Yeah.
Cezanne to
No,
Anna.
no.
Nailed
Listen,
it!
motherfucker, he has been talking about a Cezanne for months. Literally months.
Well, it could be on the docket because Cezannes are gold. They're light in body. They're anywhere from yellow to a golden flavor. They pick up anywhere you go. So I'll explain a little bit about the backstory of Cezannes, right?
Please.
They
May
are
we?
they are called the farmhouse ale because Cezanne, they were brewed for the season for the workers in the fields.
When a lot of them were, like
Yeah.
like beer history wise,
Yeah.
like you made certain beers at certain times.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason it was done this way, it needed to be a light beer so you could just be drinking it while you're harvesting.
Yeah. While you're working.
While you're working. But what's interesting about it is it differed from region to region. There's no definitive.
Like liquid
this
assets.
This is what a saison is because it depended on what farm or region or province you came from.
Oh my
is
gosh.
how they would brew that.
So here's an
Right?
interesting thing about Evelyn. You assume because she's a paladin, she's lawful good. She's actually neutral good. And the way that
Really?
yes, and the way that
Okay, I want to hear this. I want to explain this to me for my D&D delights.
the way that I kind of interpret that is instead of I do everything by the rules,
Mm-hmm.
I do everything in order to help according to how I perceive each person needs help. So that's so saison, right? That she
that's
like
freaking rad.
she goes to each place and according to the needs of that place and person.
Listen, all right, we've had some guests on this show. They haven't given their best. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just come out with it. This is premium.
This is
material.
freaking A+ material.
This is A+.
Like,
You get a Ryan Hartman on here,
he makes jokes.
he's building his own brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get Anna Prosser. we're engaging with the media.
Yeah, and the story and the lore. Like, that's huge.
It didn't
That's-
click for me until just now that that's so perfect.
That ball's out of control.
But we
I
also
support you.
we also had a fantasy of talking about kombucha and doing a kombucha. So
there is a way to do a kombucha beer.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it is exactly the same match. I mean, basically, similar to a double or a triple,
Mm-hmm.
A kombucha beer basically involves creating kombucha
Mm-hmm.
and then going through a process of constant fermentation over a period of time.
right, there is
Right.
a scenario. There's a play to be made.
The
that-
vinegar content gets cranked. I mean, by the end of that
Oh, yeah.
process, it's like ultra kombucha,
Well,
right?
we could look at two of these doing much like Holly's Dark Contract.
Yep.
So the concept for Holly's beer started out as Trash Whiz, and then we're like, oh no, we want to do this, this, and this, and we call
it
it Dark
became-
Contract as a style.
So that's actually the brand.
Yeah.
And then Trash Witch is just one expression.
So we could do the same
Right.
thing for Evelyn and say she has her own brand, and these are different.
I love that.
sub
Aspects.
Yeah, different releases, so as to say.
Because I would think a kombucha with kind of the effervescence and how it's good for you
Absolutely.
is like the surface level of Evelyn, you know? Like the how you interact with her when she like comes into a bar and she's like, let's party, let's dance.
well, but
Praise
also
Lathander!
because she's provincial, right? So this is the first choice I'm going to give the people at home. Because she's provincial, it could be that this is an artifact of her place, right? It could be that where she's from.
Update. It's very strong.
Dave has returned to suggest that the beer is very strong, and he is not wrong.
He is correct.
He is messed up.
I like that kombucha beer can be metal Evelyn. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to incorporate.
But that's the hook,
Yeah.
right? I mean, basically, for real, I have a SCOBY. Dave and I actually, I feel like perfected the art.
True.
Like, we have made some really, really good kombucha
Really?
in the office.
See, I love kombucha. I tried to brew my own. I brewed a few batches.
We did twice. The first one was a black tea, and I lived on it. Like, it kicked out maybe 6 good stopper bottles this size, and for a little while, like, I literally had it for lunch. Like,
Really?
it was so good. And then the second time we went through, we tried to go green tea route.
I did that.
Yeah. Really?
And it's
Oh, yeah, you said
honestly
that.
like
Yeah.
it results in some, like, it's fine, but I'm not sure that it is as good as the traditional black
It
tea
doesn't maybe
variety.
have like the depth. Yeah.
But what's interesting is you
wasn't for us.
can add other flavors into those.
You definitely
into the
can, but as
kombuchas.
a base, I really preferred the black tea, and it's the tannins. I mean, at the end of the day, it has to do with the fact that there's something to contend with the vinegar that's produced as a natural
right.
result.
Right.
That actually makes sense canonically as well, because I haven't actually revealed this. So here's some like background
Oh,
canon.
shit. I don't know if we have an air horn or whatever, but like, goddamn.
Yeah. So recently, Evelyn received a boon on top of being a construct from Lathander, and so she.
Yeah, this is very, very Perkins.
It is. And she got to choose between 3 boons.
What?
And she had to like let go because she's wanted to be back in her human body, so she could choose to be
She's
back.
such a fucking dude. Chris Perkins is a baller.
The man blows my mind. I mean, we could talk this whole rest of the time about how Chris Perkins is a magical gift to humanity.
Listen, trust me, we will get him on this show one of these times.
Oh, I've already talked to him. He's set to come on.
He's already worked it out.
We're going to do a DM's beer.
Good. Okay. Well,
brew.
so
Chris doesn't like beer, so we're going to do a cider for him.
We're on it.
in my head canon, the way that boon kind of like took form because she got like mega con and mega extra hit points. She has like 105 hit points now.
Shit.
So what I think happened is I think she has this kind of like, you know, she's a machine, right? So she's got to have some sort of like oil, lubricant, something flowing through all of her.
And I'm curious, honestly.
That's great.
I am very curious about this in terms of the extracts.
Yeah.
Like, if we go this route with Evelyn, I feel like we're almost obligated to add some kind of herbal oil or some kind of herbal extract.
So like
to
you're
it.
saying something to power Evelyn's.
So I think
like,
that's where the
joints,
boon,
right?
like the magic, the divine energy, that's where it is in that viscous fluid,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And so now when she does things that are super channeling Lathander, she kind of glows a little bit because that oil is kind of glowing with the power of
Chris
Lathander.
Perkins, you are a mad genius.
So no, he didn't make that up. I made that
didn't?
up.
Did
I don't even know if Chris is gonna let me do that. That's just a thing that I. So now
But we're
I
putting
glow
it
Chris.
out on the channel, so it's almost canon.
Yeah,
Nope.
that's why I like to do it over here so
I know,
that
right?
you know, he can't
He
say
ain't
no.
know.
But anyway, all of this comes back to why black tea would make sense because I feel like black tea is more like an oil running through.
Well, it has an oil now. Welcome to our lives.
Yeah, holy fuck.
The channel has chosen a saison.
Okay.
Now,
What's
but that is not to say that tea cannot be incorporated. So the reason I was talking about Danny, who is completely fucking rad.
Yep.
First of all.
Yep.
You know, when she came on and she wanted a cider.
Fandroid.
Lathandroid.
Oh my gosh.
You nerds.
No.
Goddamn
How
nerds.
has no one said that yet? You
How
think that's
is-
amazing.
That's
we need
amazing.
ambergris. Now, it's like this. So when Danny rolled through, she's like, hey, I love that cider. And I was like, okay, well, that's the worst because
Boring.
cider, I mean, good God. It's like kombucha. Have you ever made kombucha
Yeah.
one time. So you put the SCOBY in and you put the stuff in and then literally you leave it alone, right?
And you
Like,
try not to let the fruit flies
Well,
get in it.
For us,
Yes.
that's not where we're at, right?
Well, no. Let's talk about this. What would be Evelyn's overarching trade name?
It has to be, sure.
Right. So
But
how can we do a kombucha and a?
But I also feel strongly that in this line of products,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the color, like sometimes we're going dark.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the color for an Evelyn beer, it has to be bright.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I feel like as a Lathander
Yep.
licensed product,
All about the light. Yep.
it has to be bright
Well, I'll show
in
you.
taste and in color.
Let's check it out.
But there should be a brightness, but a depth too, because there's a lot of like.
Oh, fear not.
The best thing about Evelyn, in my opinion, as a player, is that she comes across as one note until you really start to learn her backstory and you find out
No.
how like.
You have to enhance quadrant 1. And then it's like, whoa, right?
Right.
Whoa. Now,
Okay, so Josh, you want to bring up or maybe in a second when I can find a real.
there, the CERM. Oh,
What's this?
Anna
is-
Prosser, we are going to dump info on you.
I love it.
I can't-
Learn me things.
I would
We have
love
pulled
to
this up
if I
before.
can't.
You gotta grab another one. Et voilà, c'est bon.
So
Now-
this is the SRM scale, which basically determines what a beer is going to be colored like.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to go with a saison out the gate,
Mm-hmm.
a saison is between, as we can see down here, right? So this is a really cool little program that's been made by a PhD student.
This is amazing.
The color is between 5 and 22. So what we'll
That's
do
wide.
is we'll go back and we can look at 5 is that very light yellowish
Mm-hmm.
color all the way to 22, which is a darker pseudo golden brown.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this whole scale to play with.
Play with. And understand that, so because each
That's
of these...
actually a better representation of the color. on the
Exactly.
screen.
So each of these ingredients, they're rated according to an international scale.
Mm-hmm.
And so the program that we use to create the recipes, we hit these colors exactly.
Yep.
Cool.
So depending on the grains that we use, depending on any other additions, like we can hit these colors exactly what you want.
Cool.
And so some things we're going to collaborate on 100% with the
Mm-hmm.
channel. Some things I feel like because it's your character, I think that you get to pick.
Yeah.
Right?
And
And, so
yeah,
I
I
would
think
like
color-
I would like you to take a look at this either here or over on the brighter
I'd say
screen
that the brighter screen gives a better
and figure out
representation
what
of the
color you think is the most Evelyn out of this. And then we can figure out everything. We can retcon grain-wise. We can arrive at that color and it'll be exactly what you want. Hey, how often do you get up in this neck of the woods?
I mean, I have family up here, so pretty often. It's not
okay,
too hard for me
okay.
to get here.
So when it's ready to go, we could have.
Totally.
Okay.
I'm just saying we could have a taste. You could have Anna for a tasting and also to make the kombucha. Just saying.
That's quite true, actually. What we could do for the kombucha.
Holly, we're still waiting for you to come up.
Yeah.
A second time to do the next dark pack.
What we could do for the kombucha is we could actually like legit make it here on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's nothing to do. I mean, what we'll do is we'll put together the tea already. I'll bring my jug.
Yeah.
It's just over on my shelf, right? When Dave and I we made a couple batches. I'd bring that jug right here. I'll just give you the SCOBY. You can open that thing up. It's in its hotel right now. So you might not know this. So
Scobies are disgusting.
if you make kombucha with any regularity, first of all, it's a completely bizarre act.
Yeah.
It really is.
Right? So this is basically like a pile of slime. That
It looks like a giant booger.
Yeah, like a booger.
Yeah. But it emits heat too, which is weird.
It's worse than a booger. And I'll tell you why. If you have a booger, it's like, hey, that's a booger. I have a certain feeling about that. But bare minimum, it exists at a stable volume. No. With a SCOBY, if you put it into tea with sugar and make kombucha, it's literally trying to make another fucking SCOBY.
Trying to reproduce.
It's trying to reproduce, and it makes a whole other slimy booger layer.
It's just a sweet little SCOBY pet.
Anyway, what I'm saying is
Tamagotchi?
Yeah.
is that when Anna comes back,
real sweet.
I'll just push that SCOBY over to you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I'll make the tank. I'll make the jug. Right. We'll get everything ready to go, and then you can do the introduction. But functionally speaking, like that process it's like an brewing almost because basically it's just vinegar for days. You cleanse everything with vinegar. If you're doing brewing, like we hit it with real shit. We hit it with one step. We hit it with Star Sand.
I love Holly. Everything is not a pet.
It is a pet. Let me adopt it.
Right? But I mean, we hit it with real stuff. With kombucha, for that process, you use vinegar to cleanse everything. Like it is really, really old school. And the results speak for themselves. Like
it's simple enough that I did it in my kitchen. So that
it
gives
is
you a
easy
sense.
peasy.
It's
All right.
weird
crazy.
and
Even-
kind of
even-
gross, but it's simple.
Even extract brewing is you just do it right in your kitchen, and we're going to show that very soon.
But I feel like having Anna back would be a great chance to show.
I think it'd be really cool.
Well, basically,
Just saying you're invited back.
again. So we were talking about
anytime.
we were talking about on ramps before,
Yeah.
right? So this is like an on ramp into stouts.
Right.
We can show the on ramp into brewing, which I would say is making mead, cider, or kombucha.
Right.
It's
They're the
all,
easiest ones to get into.
And Holly wants to make that mead, that lavender mead.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
Listen, we know.
Holly, when
we
you come up, we'll do a mead.
about her mead fantasies.
I've sent
I saw
Holly
the stuff in her
mead,
kitchen.
like-
She has all the stuff already.
No, we talked to her about it. Like she got hooked after she left. She's like, oh shit! It's like you buy that mead kit
Yeah.
online, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, so we went with saison. That's our
So
collaboration here.
what do you think in
What color-wise
color-wise?
do you like?
God,
Well-
there's so many cool concepts to play around with.
Yeah.
these,
Every
right?
one of them, like this is meaningful. Like in the glass, that by itself is meaningful, right?
So here's what I'm thinking. Like
to pick.
the obvious choice is go for the lightest because
Okay.
all she is about the light, the bright, everything. But like I said, I like the fact that there is a lot of substance to her that you might not imagine.
Right.
So maybe I associate that with a warmer, like more substantial glowing, like a sunsetty type color, which would maybe be like
fascinating.
like
okay.
an 11-ish.
Yeah,
you know?
like that golden sunset type of thing?
but I also just have a tendency not to like super light beers in general, but I don't know what a saison tastes like, so maybe I'm being biased.
Spicy and good.
Yeah, you can. A saison is kind of like the world is your oyster. You can really make it to
It's so broad.
whatever you want it to be because of that concept of wherever you were, whatever province you were in, it would change based on the grains you had, based on what was available
Harvest.
for you. Yeah. Do you want to make it peppery? Do you want to make it, add fruit to it? There's so many different ways
No,
to play
for real
around with it.
saison, it would not be weird for there to be pepper in it.
No, I've done a black pepper saison.
That'd be really cool.
Like
I
a
know,
gunpowder
right?
That would
saison.
add that like depth
It's
to
really
it. Because if we did like let's say a 5 or a 6, and then that had that pepper in it, where you're expecting something super light and easy, but then there's that that would be really
But
cool.
again, so just like two things. One, this is the best show that's ever been created. Two,
I have 2 beers in front of me. I do not
right?
argue.
It's a huge win. Now, when it comes to Trash Twitch, so the Trash Twitch has that nose aspect, and then it has the taste aspect. So when we're talking about the duality of one, I feel like we can play around with that as a meaningful interpretation of the character. So it could be that the nose has got. It's like the nose is your first impression. So in your mind, think about what the first impression is of Evelyn, and then think about what it means to actually know Evelyn.
Yes, I love that so
Right?
much.
Wow, that's a really cool way to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can enunciate that duality right here. And there's a lot of hops in terms of like
absolutely.
how you come at the nose, right? So you have those flame out hops.
Oh, absolutely.
Where basically, it's so because we talked about the different thresholds of when the hops are added. There's also a threshold at the very end where it can be added, and because it spends less time in boiling water, more of that essential nature that you got out of the bag is there. So all that brightness and everything like that, we can have that be right there at the nose, but it is not inflecting
And
the
then,
base taste.
if we want to enunciate that even more, we can throw hops into the fermenter as it's fermenting to get all of the flavor.
Cool.
Exactly.
All of the aroma.
So
it's called dry hopping.
your first
Cool.
idea about her is that it is bright and it is sunny. We can provide that in this beer, and then the flavor itself doesn't have to be inflected by that at all.
No.
We have a completely other set of tools we can use to mess with that
Cool.
part, right?
That's really neat. I love that. That's really neat.
So do we want to go for a super bright color or a golden color?
Does it affect the flavor at all?
It won't affect the flavor at
No.
all.
We can
So
mess
I
with
think-
this any way we want.
I think that if we're going first impressions, what you see from Evelyn is the super bright light. So I think like in the 5 or
like
6,
the 5
like
or
the
6,
high,
like that
like
6.
the early,
Like that 6 looks super golden.
Yeah,
like-
let's do that.
I feel like
Let's
Evelyn
do
is
6.
like radiating
Yeah.
golden light. Okay. Viking Goat. Evelyn and Trevor should sing to the grains. Just throwing that out there, Trevor.
That sounds great. I get this a lot actually from Gra.
Okay.
Real talk, Evelyn was my least favorite character when DCA started. Now she is my favorite. That idea for the beer is fantastic. That's exactly Evelyn. Is
That's awesome.
To
That's
me,
on brand.
Yeah, that's because that's what I wanted to set out to do with this character. Was like you think you know her right away, and you think that you have no use for her, and then you find out more and more and more about why she is the way she is.
Well,
and what
what
she has to
really
offer.
got me was I don't know if it was after Unplugged or the show after Unplugged with the duel with it wasn't a purple worm.
Oh
it was,
yes,
like
with the
duel scene.
Dendar
The
duel.
Dendar, yeah.
The compelled duel.
Like that blew my mind, but then the art that everybody was making for it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Holly did you see Holly's painting?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Holly, I mean, we can all agree Holly
Listen,
Conrad is just a gem, right?
Hold on.
The
now.
best.
There is no way to fully contain Commander Holly
No,
with language.
no.
She's a precious creature. She
Look,
is.
she just said Strix Evelyn's best friend.
What? She is. Oh shit! I'm just saying, like, she is inconceivable. Can you like? This individual is so legit. Like when we were down in.
Thank you, Ninja. I appreciate that.
We were down in Oz. No, Ninja Nurse, listen, there's a whole scene to the Grains plan. But we were down there with Jesse Cox and Holly after the Star Wars game, just sort of like breaking it down and like feeling good and having fun. And I couldn't, like, I mean, you know how it is. If you exist in this sort of like a public context, you'll meet people and then sometimes there's like a different version of them.
Yep.
There's no other Holly.
Nope.
Like, and that is a really, really important piece of information. There's actually just the one Holly,
Yep.
right? Like that is especially when you, like I say, when a lot of your job exists in this social context. When you meet somebody who actually is that, like what they purport to be, like you file it away, right?
I know.
Now-
You guys should have seen Jerry's face. I walked into a party, said, "Hi, Jerry."
Which one?
The Acquisitions
Oh,
Intoxicated
the
meetup.
Intoxicated party. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
the Drawn Courtier.
And you were like, "Oh, hey, Anna, what's up? Where's Holly?" And I was like, "Oh, she's not here right now." And you were like,
I was so happy you guys came to that. That
"Or
was
no,
so
I said
rad.
you asked if I was taking her away. I was taking her to dinner. You were so disappointed."
Well, no, because she's rad. I want to
know.
be like she emits. It's like a
Do you want to start a Holly fan club with me?
5-foot radius.
Could we have our own Discord
Yeah.
chat over
Yeah.
Holly?
Yeah, the Commander Holly fan club.
But I'm saying, like, within a 5-foot radius of Holly, it's like she has like a legit aura,
yeah.
and it's like shit is real within a certain radius around Holly, and you want to maintain that. So now, are you as guest? I have never asked a guest to adore the grains.
Okay.
Are you prepared to sing to these grains?
Certainly. I may need some guidance as to what type of singing.
No. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you sing to the grains. The grains are nourished
Okay.
by the sound. So if you want to come over there, and then it is vital, however, to maintain contact with the
I have had a
grains.
lot of this really dark beer,
Yeah,
so
it's
let's
great.
just walk really
listen,
closely.
no one is mad. If you trip,
Okay.
that's actually legitimately what I expect. So,
Oh,
Okay.
Holly's saying sing our song.
do you have a song?
Do you have a
gosh,
song?
Holly!
What's the song?
Do you have- what's the song?
What's the song?
It's called Sunset's Promise. Holly and I composed it for.
Is this for Paulton? Or
No, this was actually a moment where Evelyn had been. This is mega spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show, plug your ears. Everyone had died except for Strix. And she had lived 50 years by herself, bathing in goat's blood so as to not age in the forest.
Like you do.
Of course.
This is Increda.
And I'm sorry, I'm like off camera. I'll explain this over here. And she found a way to bring all of her friends back to life, but all of her friends had been floating in the mists for 50 years, and Evelyn, having basically only had a connection to her friends and Lathander her whole life, no one else ever.
Yeah.
Being separated from Lathander in the mist for 50 years.
Oh, it's hell. I mean, the biblical
Yeah.
definition of hell is distance from God. right?
Exactly,
So-
exactly that. Yes. And so she had felt adrift, tortured,
Right.
and she was messed up. She was super messed up. But, and she was like basically praying for a sign. And then Strix was just humming this hymn that she had heard from the village children in the forest. And it was a hymn about Lathander that Evelyn knew, and they sang it together and brought everyone back.
Dude, this is going to nourish these grains. Like, these grains are going to be changed after this.
All right, I mean, like,
And for Ryan, fuck it. God, that dude.
I don't know.
He
I
doesn't
mean-
deserve this.
Real quick, compare the Ryan experience
Yeah.
to the Anna experience. Wow.
Anna.
it's getting like
100%
soppy
all
over
day.
here a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little damp,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know.
We have an
the-
original song. By the way, original song. BT Dubs.
Yeah, I want
Come in.
Holly and I
got
wrote it. Yeah, it's one. And this is again. Where am I? There. This is again. This is why Holly Conrad is a gem.
There's never been a face on the grain cam.
Hi,
It's fine.
This is the
because
best. This is the best grain cam ever.
I've always wanted to compose original music, and she
Aw.
inspired me to do that.
Yeah. All right, here.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Let's do it.
The raven offers sweet release far from this lonesome way, but some may still have need of me, and so for these I choose to stay. For unseen I know daylight is waiting, each night has an end. Sunset promises, sunrise will come. That's the end.
God
nourished grains.
damn.
Lord.
God damn. God damn. Anna Prosser, everybody.
Open
Do you think it'll work?
Open invitation.
Oh,
There's your-
shit.
There's your present, Dinar.
Yeah, exactly.
Secret Santa.
Yeah, right?
You suck. Now, so, we gotta build this thing.
I'm still a little crying
No,
from
no,
the
no.
fucking song.
Listen,
so.
shit's rap. I'm not saying it's not rap.
I started too low.
Dude, no. Listen,
it was-
But you worked through it at the end.
I mean, you gotta
Right?
do what you gotta do.
It's minor key.
I'm not crying, you're crying. I like that.
It's legit. Hey, listen. So let's put together this deal, right? Remembering the bright
Sure.
initial approach, and then richness and depth underneath.
So let's talk about the base malt we're going to use for this beer.
Okay.
Grains.
The grains.
Grains.
You know, as we put them in, we throw them in the mash. Yes.
Grains.
Okay. So we're going to start with Pilsner malt, but there's different kinds of Pilsner.
So just so you know, like what we had in here for Dinar, right? So that's going to be, you tasted it, but that's just at the base level. Like we have, part of the reason we choose Pilsner malts is to make room for other tastes, right? It's one of the
Okay.
most simple ones we can put in there.
But it's also very traditional of a saison. So we're going to choose between Belgian and German because they're going to actually where the region these grains are grown from, it provides different tastes. A Belgian
Terroir, if you will.
Yes.
I don't know what that word means. That's fine though.
It means the taste of a place.
Oh, ooh. Now
This is what I have
I've
to
learned
write
so
with
much
every week, though.
vocabulary already today.
Oh, that's my deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I educate people against their will.
I like that. What was it again?
Terroir.
Terroir.
Oh, yeah. There's actually a really fun. If you want to try an interesting strategic game on Steam, there's a game called Terroir about founding a winery.
Ooh.
Give it a try.
Josh was playing that a while ago, wasn't he?
Oh, he was indeed.
I played that game today too.
God damn,
Nice.
see? Motherfucker's on it. Now,
Yeah.
Belgian Pilsner.
So-
what distinguishes a Belgian Pilsner?
A Belgian, we're going to do Belgian and German.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's two really distinct flavors we're playing around. One is going to be very sweet, and one is going to create a more dry flavor.
So is the Belgian the dry?
Belgian is actually sweet.
Huh.
So it's going to give a sweet taste off of the tongue, whereas the German Pilsner is going to be very dry. Think of like a dry wine almost.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
kind of the...
Okay.
So a little
what we're
more,
looking
it's not acidic, it's more astringent, right?
Yep.
We're doing both of those, you said?
We're going to choose between
We
the
choose
two.
between them.
And so this is where we start collaborating with the Chanel. Now,
Chanel Yar?
We got
indeed.
Gucci,
Now, so you can
Chanel.
you can
Chanel,
enjoy
yeah.
this right here. You can watch the war occur in the channel.
So what do you think? So based on Evelyn, what do you think is...
I think Chat has it. I think
Yeah.
Evelyn is all about the sweet. And I actually really like Belgian beers, so that's
Like,
fair.
listen, that's global. Belgian beers are renowned globally, right? Everyone likes them. There is something unique about that, and it started hundreds of years ago. See, this is always the funny thing when you think about those Abbey ales, like those Trappist ales, and it's like, okay, well, these motherfuckers obviously being a term of endearment,
Right, obviously.
right? These motherfuckers fasted, but what we don't understand from the modern perspective is that fasting doesn't exclude beer. This is an important piece of
just
information.
drink your
It's
bread.
a liquid.
Liquid bread. Yeah,
That's-
listen.
Daily bread?
Yeah, basically. What?
Best guest.
Best
Maybe
guest
of all
ever.
time. Now,
Of all time.
listen, the Belgian Pilsner kick. We're done with this.
Okay.
Now,
So we'll use some two-row Belgian to start out this delicious beer.
right. So you know, see, I keep getting excited and I keep snorting. Like, I'm not even trying to snort. Like, I wish I would stop doing it.
I snort when I laugh, it's okay.
So two row, real quick, so you know, right?
Yeah.
So like in your mind, like the mental image of wheat that has like the seeds on both sides of the stalk. That's what they mean by two row.
Oh.
There's another type of malt, another type of grain malt that has seeds all around the stalk. And so this is just like the classic, almost like the iconic grain that has a seed on each side.
Before,
that fits Evelyn too.
Before
Classic.
we get into anything else, let's talk about the ABV. Where do we want this beer to fall?
I want it drunker than everyone else.
Holly, that's a challenge because a Saison traditionally can go up to 9.5. Yours was at 9.3.
I don't want to beat Holly, I want to beat Dinar. But that we can't. I understand.
We could.
Well, with a Saison, I feel like
Are
we
you
can't
crazy?
go to 12.
No, I'm mostly joking around.
Well,
It's fine.
here,
Evelyn's
also-
actually proven a huge lightweight
I mean,
too,
the-
so she would be like, "Ha ha, let's drink that." Boom.
But the other part of it, right, is that, you know, at that 12%, we can't. First of all, it's a scary amount.
So it's a little medicinal.
But also, I want to drink it sooner than later. So this is one of the other considerations.
True,
the higher the
true.
ABV, the longer it has to
Evelyn
rest.
is very much about instant gratification.
Exactly. So I feel like that's too much. Now, Evelyn can always drink another one.
That's true.
So we
That's
can
true.
get to the highest ABV you want, but it's going to take multiple beers.
I have that image of from the Lord of the Rings when they're doing the drinking contest, and you know, you can just pound more and more and more and more.
I mean, Evelyn can't even get drunk anymore now that she's a construct, so it doesn't really matter to her either way, unfortunately. In fact, she can't even really drink anything.
It's purely about flavor.
I mean, she can't even really taste anything.
It just runs.
Mecca Evelyn can't get drunk.
I know it's actually a very tragic, very sad thing. But let's think about human Evelyn, what she would have wanted. She'd want to knock a few back with her friends, and
Yes,
she's only
a few
5
back-
feet tall. She's very little.
Indeed, right. So in that scenario, we're really talking about something sessionable, right? So we're really talking about something that's between 4 and 5. I mean, let's say 4.5.
Well, let's give the chat the choice.
Yeah.
So there is saisons go down to 3.5.
Yeah.
Then
Because it's so like what they constitute means something so distinct from place to
Yeah.
place.
So let's say you want to do a 4% or 4.5, a 6, and a 7. Let's see what the chat thinks. So what are your thoughts more on that on Evelyn's?
Yeah, exactly. So we've put it out here, but you have tremendous power in this context to shape these votes.
Yeah. By what Evelyn?
So if you're trying to grab a bunch and put them down, like you come back from a task and it's time to celebrate. You know, depending on where you are, even in the regular world, you know, the beers exist in a specific volume level.
I think she'd be in one of those middle two. I think she'd be in that 5 or 6 range. That's what I'm feeling.
That's quite easy for us to manage.
5 is my favorite number. That's easy.
Oh, that works.
But I
4
think she'd
because
be
she
in.
always rolls. You always roll a 4.
I always roll 6s, actually.
Oh,
Always on
okay.
perception specifically. Always 6 perception. Evelyn
not-
never knows what's going on ever.
No.
She's like, I'm
Now,
just here.
on the other hand,
She's always like Lavender.
so 5 is very good.
Okay.
Like, it's right in that middle. It's like when I was in Scotland, for example, right? We're talking about the real ales. It's a classification, like culturally speaking.
Real ales,
where
yeah.
These basically exist in barrels or casks, and or tanks, and they keep them in the cellar, and that's just the temperature they are, right? It's like cellaring or cellar temp is one of the ways you get this type of beer.
Orion Rogue American do not know what a session ale is. I will back you up
No, it's
100% on that.
It's true, but
Ooh, I like what Doomgate Trevor said. I think it should be strong for the style because it will look like a light beer, but Evelyn is much more potent than she comes off.
I like
that's
it. I like it.
rad.
And so 5 is actually solid for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's going to be a little bit higher than
Yeah.
you'd expect
I
from
mean,
a straight
a
set.
sessionable ale is going to be around
It's
3.5 to 4.
Exactly.
That's what sessionable
it's
is.
It's down here, right?
We're gonna kick it up a
at
notch.
5, it's goosed, right? All right, now, so that's a solid product. Now, so you throw that in. We're talking about 5%.
Okay.
So watch this. This is super cool. So now that we know what type of ABV we want, now we start goosing the amount of grains we put into the recipe.
And depending on the color and some other flavors we want to use. So we can actually, because it's a saison, really the world is our oyster. So we could use more base malts. Like we could take rye and put rye in there, which is going to give us a little more spicy of a flavor. We could
That's
take,
quite true.
or we could bring it back and take wheat, which is going to give us a more
It's broad.
a lighter flavor, a tastier flavor. You know, give us that brightness. So there's two ways to skin that
Exactly.
too.
So let's say wheat or rye.
I definitely would say the wheat gives me a strong response because of like the idea of wheat fields in this farm provincial town that she comes from.
Totally.
Yep, but the reality, right, is that grain the sequel. I'm going to spell grain correctly just for kicks. It's true based on where she is, but she might be from a place where rye is the grain. You never
That's
know,
true.
right?
That's
It's
true.
like maybe that's what grows best there.
Here's the thing.
Maybe it's a hard-scrabble place,
I'm
and they
already
have a
nerding
smaller
out
grain.
about like all the other saisons we can make as Evelyn travels through the realms.
Yeah.
Like that's such a cool idea.
Yeah. Well, it looks like there's definitely some wheat fans out there. So.
Yeah.
Broad and sweet is very Evelyn too. I don't think she's not much of a spicy lass.
Well, yeah.
She's kind of what you know.
Not at the base, right? We're gonna
That's
add.
true.
We're gonna add those. Like basically, we're gonna figure out a way to incorporate her experiences and her depth in the flavor.
Absolutely.
But that's not just gonna be in terms of grains, right? Part of that can be yeast too,
The,
because the
actually,
yeast that you
the
add.
the yeast in saisons makes a bigger impact than most beers.
So-
And we'll talk about a lot of yeast
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
get
yeah.
into
So
this.
that's one of the things that I didn't understand when I was first getting into this, which is that the yeast is so much of the experience. Like we can mess around with the grains and the hops all we want,
Right.
but when the yeast comes in, like that final process of the drink, it has a lot to say. Like just using a Belgian yeast. So, for example, for Jim Dark Magic, we did the same beer. Every ingredient is the same. We used an ale yeast and a Belgian yeast. And they were, I mean, you would never imagine that they were the same ingredient.
Really?
The
Interesting.
yeast is so big. So with a Belgian yeast means that those strains are wild. So we're talking about terroir, right? So it's the taste of a place. Well, ancient Belgian yeasts were spontaneously fermented, which means that some of the old ale houses would literally open the roof
Whoa.
and let them ferment based on the yeast that was wild in the air.
Whoa.
Right?
Cool.
And so the regular ale yeast, it's like the ingredients are much more important. With a Belgian yeast, they come in and just redecorate. Flavor-wise, same ingredients. They come in and the Belgian yeast is actually the main taste. So the classics, right? Banana, clove, bubblegum, nonsense, right? But it's because they're like these untamed creatures that are just incorporated from the air.
That's really cool.
So we were gold on this wheat.
Yeah. So I threw a little wheat in. We're gonna probably put a pound of wheat in. We'll play with the numbers afterwards.
Exactly.
Now,
because the numbers are going to be what lets us get the color into where she wants.
right. Now, what do you think? There's two other flavors we could add to this that would be really neat. More of a caramel flavor, or do we add more of a biscuity toffee flavor?
Biscuity toffee. What does that mean?
Think of almost a bready flavor.
Okay.
So those are two other types.
So the biscuit toffee, which one is that?
That's going to be Victory Malt.
Yeah. And we've leveraged that
Evelyn
before.
likes Victory.
Honestly, dude, there's a case to be made just for the name of the grain, right?
Yeah. The light will always triumph over the dark.
Victory is biscuit toffee, and then what was the second one you had?
We'll just do a caramel 80, which is going to give us that head retention and a sweet caramel flavor. So you can either make it very sweet, or I mean, we already have sweet from the Belgian.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like we're
and
doing
the
a lot
wheat.
of sweet.
Yeah, or we could not do any of those if we don't want to. And
Exactly, but one of these is going to be a good pick, especially on the caramel 80, because actually either one of these is going to let us control the SRMs.
What's SRMs again?
that's the
That color.
Okay.
Right, so either one of these, so basically once we have these 3 grains established, then we can move in on the sliders and sort of adjust them until they reach the golden color you're looking for.
Gotcha.
Then we start talking about hops.
Well, we start talking about hops and then flavor additions, because we can go anywhere with flavor, like putting pepper in there,
Because it's a
like
saison,
putting raspberry
right?
in there, like putting anything you can think of that's a flavor, we can add to that if we want to.
Cool.
So I mean, after we do the malts,
It's the next lever.
that's the next thing.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
the next lever we pull back is what kind of flavors do we want to add to this? Do we want it to be peppery? Do we want it to be fruity? Do we want like a mushroomy, earthy taste to it? Like, there's so many ways we can go about it.
Yeah, it can get as weird as we want, but Victory came out on top of this one pretty easily.
Victory!
Victoire. Now, so now that we got a solid grain base, we can adjust the colors.
So check it out. So you can see the TV's a better representation.
That's pretty glowy and
But
pretty.
before we added the Victory, I'm going to put it down to 0. We were at 4.3 on the SRM scale.
Right,
We
so
were
it's
going
that
for
very clean Pilsner type look.
Yeah, we were going for what, 11 was what we came out to? Was that the number? Was 11
For the
number?
SRM, you have to pull it back up.
You mean what we chose for the
color,
color we
yeah.
wanted? We went brighter, like 6, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Rad. Derp. Derp.
Take a looky loo.
Yeah, 6.
Oh yeah, we were
6.
going for 6.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So nice. Oh, that's gonna be so nice in the class.
Okay, so right now,
Like sunshine.
if
Indeed.
you look at the little beer glass on the side, we're at 4.3.
It's simulating the color, right?
Gotcha.
So if we add a little bit, that brings us up to 5.6 just by adding a quarter of a pound,
Dang.
4 ounces, right?
Add some victory.
Add some Victory, and then we're right there at 6. We're
Beautiful
a little bit
gold.
over 6. We're at 7.
Beautiful.
But that's that beautiful golden color.
Yep. Looks
Or
like
light
sunshine
golden,
to me.
right?
Right. And that's on pour, right? I mean, that glass is actually trying to show us head retention too. So
Naturally.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Now, what's next?
The question is, do we want to add other flavors? What or do we want to add other flavors? Do we or not? And then 2, if we do, what do we want to add? Do we want to add a pepper flavor? Do we want to add a fruit flavor? Do we want to add a syrupy flavor? I don't know.
I think like pepper has come up a lot.
I just use it because I like
well,
using pepper.
Because in saisons, it's just an example. Like it happens. You see black peppercorns a lot in saisons.
Sure.
Which I think is cool.
But what's appropriate for Evelyn, right? Like what like think of her journey, and then lemon, Archer for Prez. I agree. Lemon could be kind of cool. There's so many, like we could take lemon rinds and just grind them in, orange rinds and just put the orange in. There's so many different.
True.
There's so many different flavors we can play around with.
Color, what a cool.
Right. There's a lot of cool flavor. We could do a lemon and orange. There's so many ways to do
I
this.
don't connect to lemon as much as I connect to orange.
Okay.
Orange feels like, because she's all about like.
It's in the zone.
Think of summertime, plants, because her oath is all about nature,
Yep.
you know? So you were saying things like, you said clover before, like.
Clove is like another one we could put in there. Like, there's so many cool flavors we can put in there.
Yeah, or I don't know how deep I want to go in the fruit area, but you know, like sunny fruits like strawberries and things like that are very
Citrus and-
Evelyn-ish.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Like a strawberry saison.
Okay.
I mean,
That would be wicked. That
that's
would be
neat.
But I love the idea.
Blood orange. Somebody put blood
Ooh,
orange
ooh,
out.
Yeah,
that's
see,
really
blood orange is
good.
nice.
Yes, because Evelyn, again, it's that like sweet violence.
Right,
blood
right,
orange,
right. Oh!
Like, I really like that.
Best guess.
Done.
ever.
Do you think that something like a black pepper juxtaposed with something like a blood orange
think it's
could
rad
give
as
that cool
fuck.
No,
tension?
it's big.
It's a gunpowder
It would
orange.
be it would be very surprising, and I think that's. I mean, based on the conversations we've had, I think that is a very surprising addition to have the citrus, to have those citrus oils, especially if we're using fresh rind, and then to hit that underneath it
With pepper?
spice.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And again, you know, we're making this from scratch. We can define the amount of spice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so the orange can be the biggest part of it, but then that spice can be sort of
Just
like.
tiny off the back of the tongue.
Have you ever seen any Kurosawa films? There's often a moment where someone will just sort of like push the sword out of the scabbard a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the cheer. It's the threat, but not the violence.
Right. Yeah. Yes, I love that.
Right.
That's perfect.
And so we can choose the right amount of peppercorn.
Yeah. To throw in there.
yeah, so it's not quite like biting you in the back of
It's
the
not.
throat,
No,
but
it's
just
not in
there's
your
something
face.
there. Yeah.
It's not in your face, but it's there, and you always know it, and you have to contend with it.
right.
Okay.
Ooh, I love that.
So we're pretty sold on the pepper. Now, oh God, that's interesting. Okay, first let's do the fruit. Let's figure
Could
out
be
the fruit.
spice.
Is it blood orange? Is it
It's blood
strawberry?
orange.
Okay.
She's made the call. I mean, blood orange. We're done here. Like,
Okay.
I feel like that's it.
So look at the spices that people are throwing out: black pepper or red pepper flakes.
No. This is actually a crucial information. So, you tell me, Anna, if you want us to go to the channel with this, or if you want to make the call. So, we can have spice of a pepper variety, which is more flat, almost matte, if you will, like from a flavor perspective, or it can be authentic spice, like a pepper flake.
Yeah, it's going to be
See what I
hotter.
mean?
It's going to be hotter.
Not
It's going to be
peppery,
like almost
but
chili.
like spice.
That's God. That's a tough
I have
decision.
had some. We have
I'm
had
saying
some.
I'm Switzerland in this. I'm saying neutral because
Exactly.
those are two really
but
cool
locally,
flavors.
locally,
Yeah.
you know, so our writing process involves beer.
A lot of beer.
Shouldn't be a huge surprise. Now, one of the first place we go every time is Lucky Envelope, and it would be our great pleasure. Next time you guys are in town,
Yeah.
it'd be our
Bring
great
you
pleasure
through
to
the-
take you
the-
there and
Cool.
take you on our sort of like writing pilgrimage.
yeah,
Through
I would
Fremont
love that.
and Ballard. But there's a place called Lucky Envelope that has a 2 pepper ale that's spicy, but not in a way that's annoying or too much. Like it's actually the right amount. There might be something there. So you tell me if you want to make this choice, if we want to put it out. Do we want like a pepper spice, like a black pepper, which is more of like a seasoning type thing, or do we want heat?
So I think we should put it to a vote, but I want to tell the chat what I'm
And you
thinking.
should, you should.
Oh, it's such a great idea.
So the reason I was connected to this black pepper feeling is that to me, black pepper is like down home family meal, right? Like
Totally.
you're sitting at the farm table, you're spicing up your food and you're eating with grandma, you know? And I connect to that for Evelyn because that's all she's ever wanted. She's wanted a family, and that's also her roots, that farm table. But I'm also very tempted by this like heat spice too, because I think that harkens to the whole sunshine thing. Like,
there you go.
She's just basking
But
in the sun.
that's fucking
rad.
rad.
Because the two pepper ale that we've had is much more red in color. This would be bright and have heat. That might be really interesting.
That's super cool.
So I connect to the pepper on the sense of like, this is a blood orange thing, but there's a basement to it. I feel like, and then but with more of the heat pepper, it would be like the blood orange, and then the blood orange is like elevated. You know what I mean? So it's like which direction do you want to go, chat? Because either one is fun.
My suspicion, Eric Benson, Acquisitions Intoxicated Brewmaster. My suspicion is that a blood orange pepper ale
fucking ridiculous.
would be like a festival winner tier.
Yes.
Like nutso, like a statement piece.
I like that. Evelyn likes
They're
to make a
both
statement.
winners. Like they're both like either one of these. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah,
But-
now that you're saying that, I'm leaning more and more toward this.
But that bright,
Yeah,
because
red
that heat
pepper.
brightness. Again, we're not going to go too ham on it.
No, yeah.
Like you don't
It's
want
not John
that.
Ham.
Like,
It's not John
no,
Ham.
it's not John Ham. It's not hams that be refreshing, right? But I feel like there is a case to be made that these are both distinct, and it could be that we have actually found the bifurcation that's going to give us the Evelyn line. So we have spice pepper, we have spice tone, and we have heat tone, right? It could be that that's where these things fork.
Son of a bitch, wild card again. Grains of Paradise. I was thinking the same thing.
What's Grains of Paradise?
It's another grain that adds a more fruity flavor to the addition, but
Intrigue.
I didn't even bring it up. But
Intriguement.
man,
Yeah, so red pepper is actually doing its best here, but like I said,
I gave a much more detailed explanation of black pepper, so that does sway them both.
No, sure, but again, like I say, I think this may be the fork. This might be the bifurcation we use to derive the rest of the line, where we have this heat, right? And then we have this, it's probably like away and at home, right? We're gonna have two variations on this. This is Evelyn at home, and this is Evelyn in the field, right? So black pepper won this, but it was close, and we have to honor it, right? So let's figure out the black peppercorns. So that is gonna be another piece that adds that shelf. So like with Trashed Witch, the black peppercorns are gonna add that base that's underneath it. It's a little bit bright just because of peppercorn, especially if we're not gonna use ground pepper. These are gonna be corns, right?
maybe.
What's your fantasy?
So we know black pepper won the poll here.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Grains of Paradise, because this is something I was gonna bring up. I just forgot about it.
For the malt bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a spice, but it's for spiced beer. It provides a pepper zing with citrus notes.
This is flawless.
That's so good. So we wouldn't need to do the peppercorns. We would just use Grains of Paradise.
We would use Grains of Paradise.
I love that.
We'll use Grains of Paradise, so we can honor the chat with that. We have that peppery taste,
Yep.
but then it's also present in a way that reinforces the rest of the peel.
I think Orion brought that up, and I'm so glad you did, because I was looking at it last night and I was going to bring it up, and I'm happy somebody in the chat did. This is fantastic. This is my
This is
ultimate fantasy
this is
where
so
where
nerd.
where the chat is coming up with the same exact ideas.
This is real nerdy shit. Hey, so those have got to be in. Now, in terms of hops,
This is
Now-
where we get to play around.
now
a little
we're
bit.
So
having
what do we
fun.
have? What did we end up with? Are we doing the blood orange thing, or is
blood orange is there.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then
But
we're
we
not
are-
doing peppercorns. We're doing the grains of paradise.
because it's
It's
gonna
gonna be
offer us the pepper
citrusy
taste.
and
Yeah.
peppery.
Okay, cool.
So we still win. They're honored by that, right? But it has a little bit of extra push on the citrus aspect. Now,
Let me go to the hop. edition.
Hopzilla races sing this song Doodah.
So we can. I'm looking at two different types of hops for bittering. Now, one is going to be called Pacific Jade, which some of the chat might remember. This is going to play directly along with the peppery and citrus flavor, because that's all it imparts. It imparts a citrus flavor to the hops, or to the beer, and then also backs up that peppery, spicy flavor.
Right.
And nougat is another one. It's a traditional.
Oh, yeah.
It's strong bittering, and it's
Nougat.
very herbal and spicy. So it'll complement the pepper instead of directly
Well, instead of reinforcing it.
it.
So that is actually a very curatorial choice, and I honor you, sir. I have never gone back and gotten more.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I need to fucking call an Uber. That's what's going on.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I mean, I'm glad we're at that point together, so I'm just gonna finish this.
Yeah. We need another round for the table.
It is
Josh, do you need a round back there? Because
Josh, can we hook you up?
yeah, we can do this.
I see chat.
need
I'm
more?
into the nougat chat.
Is it nougat?
Herbal. Like I feel like
Yeah, it's
I like
interesting, right?
the variety
but
of
remember,
herbs.
remember. So this is our bittering hop, right? So that's the one that's added during the boil.
Okay.
We get more tools to play with at the end of the boil, where they haven't spent as much time in there, and their essential nature, like I was saying, the
okay,
bag,
okay.
their essential nature is actually more likely to emerge,
Okay. I gotcha.
right? So that's when we get to play with the perception of Evelyn as opposed to the truth.
Okay. Okay.
This is a fucking knife fight out
Wow,
here.
yeah, look at that. Back and forth, 50-50 right now.
Passionate. I love that. Look at you guys
God
go.
damn, 36 to 35? God, these motherfuckers is going crazy.
Man.
Shit.
I don't think I've ever seen a
Look at
chat
this.
poll be this
I
close
have
ever.
never
50.
seen this.
That's
they
nuts.
are neck and neck. Here, listen, I got 10 more seconds, and then I'm not even gonna look. I'm just gonna click the button.
This is crazy.
What do you?
A nugget came through.
The nugget came through.
Nugget.
Okay.
Bites. And trust me,
Oh, like gold nugget.
You're still
'cause
gonna
she's
win.
made of gold.
you're still gonna win. Like you still win on this, because this is here to assist. It doesn't reinforce, it assists. Like, it's still a winner here with those nuggets. And that's also just a classic hop, too.
And this is a really good time to talk about how much our IBUs we want to have. IBUs are the
yeah, and a
international bittering
Saison, they're
units.
generally not nuts.
They're about 20 to 35%.
Which is mid-range.
right.
That'd be the lower end for an
So
IPA.
do we want to go 20% or 20 IBUs, which is going to really? So when you think of an IPA, that's at about 55.
Okay.
When you think of a Coors Light, that's at about 10.
Okay.
A Saison is around 20 to 35. So it's in between that pale ale and a hop.
How does that compare to like a wheat beer or like a, something like
Right,
that?
dead on.
Okay.
Yep, yeah,
So-
wheat beers are down in that lower range.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the question we
So
need
we
to
can,
answer?
we can go with the high end of the spectrum and make it more hoppy, have a little more hoppy taste, or let the malt do the talking and every other flavor we put in do the talking at 20%.
What's your gut?
So 30 to... So
My gut's 20, but
the fight's between 30 and 20?
yeah.
Yeah.
My gut's super 20, but
I
don't
liked
wanna
what you were saying about it being easy to drink. Like everyone could pick it up and enjoy it.
Even
And I
at
feel
30,
like
even at 30, it's going to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Like this really is a curatorial choice, I think. Between 20 and 30, like obviously the hop is going to be a bigger presence, but at
Right.
the end of the day, like these are both very Evelyn. Like they both work.
And especially because we have such amazing flavors that we're already starting with, like the Grains of Paradise, the Victory Malt.
This is bonks.
This is
Yeah, 20.
I love that all of
Here.
the names have like really fit
right,
too.
like they're perfect
21.
for
every
21.
single
right?
one.
This is over. 20 came out on top.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we'll add a little bit of nougat in there.
Nougat.
We're gonna decrease this by a fuck ton. Okay.
Now,
Now-
let's talk about nose. Right?
What do you guys want? What do you think if there's a flavor that's gonna come off the nose of the beer?
So your first impression, functionally
Yeah.
speaking,
Right,
right?
First
Like we were
impre-
talking about
yeah, that's a
before.
really good idea. What to
Here,
put.
what's this? Right? Just like with Trash Twitch. Like on. Like you need to start paying attention as soon as you pick up the glass. What are we getting right out the gate?
It's got to be something.
It's got to be bright.
Something you think you recognize right away. You know, something
you
that's
think
easy.
you get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think you get it, right?
Yeah.
So, this is cool. I'm going to play off two things. One, we're going to go with Amarillo Gold,
Oh, amazing.
which is this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful citrus, flowery passion fruit flavor. I remember I used Amarillo Gold on a beer, and on a keg you can take out CO2, you can make it spray out just to get it out of the keg, and you smell the beer while it's happening, and it just smells utterly delicious. Like, you know, you get citrus
fruit
and
stand.
passion fruit.
Right.
But I'm going to play on your Oregon roots.
I saw that.
And we're going to go with some, where is it? Mount Hood.
Oh. Well, just so you know, if you're not from the Northwest, like a traditional, recognized fruit region,
Yes.
right?
Mount Hood is like driving around in Portland growing up, you could always see Mount Hood in the distance. It
Yeah.
was our mountain.
Peach
Yeah.
trees, cherries, like, it's amazing.
And the hop delivers pretty much that kind of flavor.
I've never
It's-
even heard of a Mount Hood hop. Break
Yeah.
it down.
It's still citrusy, but it's a little more mild in flavor. But it's going to give you, it's going to be a pungent hop that gives you a mild citrus. Oddly enough, a mild citrus, but it's going to come through.
So if I picked that up and smelled it, I would think, what would be my first impression of this beer?
You're going to think flowery, and you're going to think
Like simple?
very simple. Yeah.
Okay.
A very, I don't want to say neutral,
Colloquial.
but very neutral.
Okay.
Hometown.
It's gonna taste like a hop, but it's not gonna go out of like. It's not gonna. This tastes very dank. It's not,
Right,
It's not.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. It's very neutral.
Because
Kind of
there are
neutral
hops.
good, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
There
It's
are
not-
hops, as you have seen, that like legitimately pay out on that dank
Right.
context.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
Amarillo Gold would give me more of a like
It's
It's-
bigger.
it's more citrus.
bigger.
meadow,
it's-
like I'm
it's
standing
bigger.
under the tree.
It's gonna be like you have a passion fruit and an orange in your hand, and you're just doing this with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's those two mediums. Mount Hood's going to be a little more mild in flavor, where Amarillo's going to hit you right in the face and
It's
say,
just-
"Hey, I'm
it's
here,
about
guys."
presence.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's
And
tough.
about threshold of presence.
That's tough because I think
As we can
They're
see
having a
by
hard
the
time here
50-50.
too, right?
it's so tough because Evelyn is super in your face,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like, whoa, chill, like. But also, the first impression of her is like, oh, I get this, I understand it. There's nothing more
Exactly.
to see. And I feel like that's what Mount Hood would give us.
No, they're both winners. They're
interesting.
both
Okay, I see
winners,
what you
right?
mean.
Yeah.
Mount Hood is a little bit more hometown.
Yeah, and I feel like that's who Evelyn is. She's hometown, and you think you understand exactly who she is and why she thinks what she thinks and why she does what she does, and you don't need to consider any deeper. But that's where you enter into learning a little bit more about her and what she can offer.
Oh, that's a super cool way to look
Cool.
at it.
Well,
yeah.
here, listen. I'm gonna let it go 10 more seconds. If you
All right,
have
give
something-
some time. Yeah, if you want to.
you know, speak now or forever
I'm
hold your
leaning toward
peace.
Mount Hood, but I think both of these have good arguments. I was on speech and debate team in college. I can't help but make a debate out of everything.
Yeah, well, that's the fun of this show is that we
Yeah.
get to talk about all the different
Mount Hood.
Mount Hood.
Now,
It is okay.
I
So,
love that.
so can you do the pen flip?
Huh?
The pen flip?
Pen flip?
Well, at least in debate, in the
Oh, that. I was. Yes.
The-
When you say in debate, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly.
No,
And
I
it's like
can't.
the pen flip is a thing. I could never pull it off either. But a lot of people in debate could do the pen flip. What did you like? So did you Lincoln Douglas or?
You know what's funny is my husband and I met on the speech and debate team. I was I know he's a pro gamer. I work in video. We're just nerds.
I
through
get
and
it.
through. But I was the individual events captain, and he was the speech and debate captain.
Oh, what was your favorite individual event?
I did after dinner speaking. That was my favorite, and impromptu speaking. So after dinner is comedic, persuasive, and
So
impromptu.
Did you guys have extemp?
Yeah.
See, extemp was my fucking
That was
jam.
yours? Yeah.
So just so you know, you roll up to your round in extemp. They give you 3 topics.
Yep.
They give you 8 minutes, and then you need to come up with a speech
Yep.
about these 3 topics that combines them.
And you had to carry like a file cabinet of stuff with you because you weren't allowed, back then you couldn't just like look stuff up on your phone. You had to have prepared everything. So you had to have like files on every current event you possibly could ever need to reference.
it was bonks.
My favorite instead was impromptu speaking because they'll give you a topic or like a quotation and then you have to make a speech in 2 minutes that lasts 5 minutes.
No, that one's good too. I
Yeah.
I did extemp and I did impromptu, but that was my jam for the single events.
But that one is like the ultimate teach yourself how to BS one because it's you're not really talking about anything.
See, and
You just have to pretend you are.
in general, I think that what debate teaches you is that everyone is full of fucking
Yep.
shit. Like that's by itself a reason to do it, just to see that you cannot trust any of these motherfuckers. Now,
Oh,
Yeastville.
we're going to Yeasttown, USA.
Yeast
Right.
it up.
So we have a couple different yeast we can play around with. One is going to be a French saison.
Ooh. So
Which
tell me,
is-
I am not familiar with the saison yeasts.
So this is going to give us a clean flavor.
Yeah, that
Very
makes
balanced
sense.
and clean. The next one will be a Belgian saison,
Whoa.
which is going to be earthy, spicy, and peppery.
Oh, that's tough. I could go either way. My gut says Belgian.
Now there's one more.
Throw it in.
This isn't even in Beersmith yet, but it's called Loki. Just
Loki?
saying.
Ooh.
It's made by Imperial, and it is a saison. And our friend Anthony at Microbrew, Microbrew
He's
Homebrew.
pushing his yeast on you.
Yeah, he's pushing the yeast on me. But this is the fun part about going into your homebrew shops, guys. You can talk to them. I can't rave enough about Microbrew in Kenmore because they're all homebrewers. So we just get the bullshit about homebrew when I go in and talk about brewing.
And then you come back with great ingredients.
Yeah.
I mean,
So Loki is another saison yeast, but it adds peach and fruit flavors.
Fruit
it's gonna
tastes.
accentuate the fruit. So we have a yeast that will accentuate fruit. We'll have one that could accentuate the citrus and pepper.
or
and then
one that gives mouthfeel.
mouthfeel. Yep.
Oh, when you say mouthfeel, what exactly do you mean?
Well, so at that point, we're really talking about the almost like the astringent. So if you're comparing a red to a white in terms of wine, how a lot of whites are going to have that drier, sort of crisper, and there's actually like a texture to that liquid between the red and the white. That's the sort of thing we mean when we talk about mouthfeel. So balanced and clean is really just a matter of you drink it and then it just effervesces, as opposed to hanging around with
Yeah, I feel like there should be a certain element of that to this beer.
Yeah, dude, people are craving this Loki. They want to try something new. And they got him. They got it there bagged. They're ready to go.
Oh, I already bought one. I was
really?
There was one left, and I'm like,
you just
I
knew you had to have it,
I just want this in case we ever need a reason to use it.
right?
Evelyn is quite a peach.
But I don't know. The French saison could be really neat too, where it's very clean.
Well,
and
again, so you basically,
there's so many choices.
No, you
this
approach
is
it-
where we split
Yeah.
the Evelyn brand or
But you come
Evelyn.
at- you-
Evelyn brand.
you come in at that classic level, right?
Yep.
Where it's this is the traditional form. Where we've innovated is in terms of the grains of paradise and the rest of the spicing and ingredients. Whereas you come in with one of these other yeasts, it's like we were saying with the Belgian, that becomes a big part of the profile, depending on the yeast. Some yeast is comes in ready to play,
Right.
And some yeast is there just to do its job and get out,
Right.
Right. But this is Loki for days here. Loki came out on top.
It's a trickster. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Trickster.
I'm ready to give it a shot. Hey, so we're gonna.
Evelyn,
we have
Evelyn really
one
does
more-
like the bad boys too.
Yeah.
So we have one more stage. We have one more stage here.
But with a stage within two stages, we need to name Evelyn's overarching
That's right.
brand and then what this beer's name is.
Right. So start kicking out your names in there for Evelyn in general.
Yeah, what's Evelyn's overarching? What's her brand title?
Well,
like Holly has Dark Contract.
Yes,
What
Dark
is some-
Contract is Holly. Right. So what do we call Evelyn beers in general? Not this particular glass or cask.
Effervescent Paladin, Lights Fall Rebirth. Okay. Subtle Violence,
Light of Lathander.
Morning Lord Sunrise.
Lightfall was her old axe. I saw someone reference
Oh,
that.
really?
Sunset's Promise is the name of the song that I sang. The Hymn to Sunshine is another song that she sang, which could be like hymns have many verses, so there could be like each song or each beer is a verse in the Hymn to Sunshine.
That
Liquid
is
Sun,
so pro.
Dawnbringer. Ah, these are all really cool.
Suboptimal. That would be the whole Waffle Crew line.
Yeah.
That's the Waffle Crew
Suboptimal.
line for
That's
sure.
really good.
Now,
Sweet Violence was thrown out, which I said earlier, which was funny. Divine Purpose is good. Daily Bread, I thought
Divine
was
Purpose is really like I'm thinking like overarching. Like Divine Purpose sounds very
but I actually wrote Divine Porpoise.
just because
That's
you
not
love,
correct.
I wish I could make a dolphin noise. I don't know.
Now,
like a dolphin with a machine gun.
so here's these options. We're going to choose these, and then we're going to go in and figure out this specific class.
Love the Android.
Lathandroid is classic. I feel like that's strong.
It's really good.
Man, Sunset's Promise is kicking ass here. So Sunset's Promise is anything we make for Evelyn, right? And then we roll back through, and then we figure out the specific glass. This is Sunset's Promise already won this.
Okay.
It's already done. Now, what do we want for this specific? So Sunset Promise is the whole overall brand. What do we want for this specific saison, right?
So this
Big pepper,
Yeah.
big fruit, right?
The Dawn's Crusader. It's cool.
I think like you said, Lathandroid is really good, but it maybe doesn't fit this one because this isn't about her Android.
There may be
self.
another one. If we start
Yeah.
using essential oils or
Blood of the
extracts-
Sun. Yeah, man.
Blood of the Sun.
That's fucking rad. Forged Sunshine.
What was the other one that they said? Oh, Sweet Violence.
The Golden Fist. God, these are great. Hometown Glory.
Oh, we could name it after her mount, Morning Glory.
Oh, is that a mount?
See, so we did one too. We did a mean golden strong ale for our horse in the C team called
really?
Coriander. Oh yeah, put coriander seeds in there.
But this is more like, Can't Hurt Sunshine
Ah,
is her catchphrase.
Sunforge, yeah.
Her catchphrase is Can't Hurt Sunshine.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
That's
that
great.
could be really fun.
It's on the
Oh,
coat.
That's three. That's 3 words.
I like Holly got it.
Or we could do-
Sunforge is cool.
We could do, there's that beer, St. Pauli Girl. We could do
Yeah.
like Lathander's Girl.
Yeah.
Yes, the answer is yes. Morning Glory.
For this
Green.
particular one?
Unbreakable Dawn.
Ooh.
What?
Something with Dawn. Ooh, something
Yeah,
with
there's
Dawn.
good stuff out there.
Yeah. That's rad.
What about like something with blood, for the blood orange, like
Blood of the Sun we have, which I think is
like a blood dawn, like a
yeah, Sunset's Promise.
this is gonna come to me after the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Here.
We're gonna
No. I'm gonna put in Gucci Sunshine.
Red Dawn is too violent.
Yeah. Here, we got some
Blood
cool
Dawn, I like
cool
it.
choices
Yeah.
over here if you're looking for these.
I like Unbreakable Dawn's fucking cool. Blood of the Sun.
Blood of the Sun is crazy.
I wanna make all
but
these
the
beers, that's
Line,
the problem.
exactly,
Like,
right? But the
there's like-
line, Sunset's Promise. and then we
Gucci
have the
Sunshine, is that
specific-
what that says?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Like this is about like all
This is a
these
winner.
names. I want to make beers for these names now. It's
Yeah,
not even like I just want to make
No,
a beer.
I want to honor it end to end.
Yeah, I want to make 7 names or 7 beers for each one of these names.
Oh man, Unbreakable Dawn is so choice
Whoa.
though. It's between that and
I don't
Blood in
know,
the
Blood
Sun.
of the Sun is
They're wrestling.
Fucking cool.
They're pig wrestling in here.
Blood of the Sun actually does reference what I was just saying about like
Yeah.
that her blood, as it were, is now infused with
With light.
sunlight.
That's so rad.
I actually am digging Blood of the Sun. I didn't think of that until just now.
Yeah.
No,
that's
it's
really
juice,
rad.
but Unbreakable Dawn is killer too.
That's really good.
God, this is a
I
standoff.
can't wait to get my mitts on it. Like this is going to be kick ass.
I'm excited. I cannot wait to brew this beer. Like this is ridiculous.
Both of them.
Oh
are so good.
man, yeah, the pig wrestling has continued.
Yeah.
Well, here I'm
Let's
gonna.
stop it and do another poll between Unbreakable Dawn and Blood of the Sun.
Oh no, that's already happened.
Yeah.
That's already happening right now. Here,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna wait for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm gonna click it.
Did
Good
we say we were
times.
gonna add what? Oh, Blood
One,
Orange. Derp.
2,
Hi.
3.
Danny, what's up?
Danny Hartel is.
Danny
Oh,
Hartel's in
Blood of the
chat.
Sun. So Sunset's Promise. Blood of the Sun is the very first Anna Prosser / Evelyn beverage, manufactured here at your friends, Acquisitions Intoxicated Brew House, Redmond, Washington. It has been our great pleasure
Mine too.
to
Thank you.
spend this time with you. I want to thank Anna Prosser in her guise as Evelyn for coming and hanging out with us. Of course, Acquisitions Intoxicated Brewmaster Eric Benson, keeping it rail as always. What an incredible afternoon.
was
Thank you
so
so much for
fun.
coming.
This is amazing.
Thank you so much for coming. Next week, we won't be here, but the week after, we will be here. What are we going to tap the week after?
We have
Widow's Wake?
Widow's Wake.
Oh, our very first IPA. Now, we have studiously avoided the most popular style, but Widow's Wake, a beverage designed to honor a boat for the Acquisitions Incorporated team out of Neverwinter. It's ready to roll. All Eldorado hops. It's all stone fruit. It's going to be so, so good. But like I say, thanks so much for rolling through. An absolute pleasure. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry.
You gonna do one more?
No, I messed up. Okay, so if I don't sing, they're gonna bother me about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Rub. Here, let me go over here and take this out. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I'm not doing any more of that. That's all you get. I'm ashamed to have done that much. Excellent delivery, Anna Prosser. Listen, what a pleasure.